Namaste, everybody, once again. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sarah, and I'm an Ayurvedic counselor and conscious mentor. Forgive me, I had to start again because it started raining really hard. I wanted to talk today a little bit about a question that I've been getting from a lot of people, which is, how can Ayurveda actually help me? Which is a completely valid question. I think sometimes we get really lost in these sciences that are so broad and so all-encompassing. We want a little bit more specificity. So that's what I want to provide. And just a caveat, asterisk, I think that a lot of what I'm saying applies to a lot of nature-based medicines and a lot of nature-based philosophies. I'm going to be talking specifically about Ayurveda and yoga philosophy, which are two very interconnected sciences that complement each other very well. And just to distinguish, again, Ayurvedic medicine from more Western medicine, which is a little bit more of a compartmentalized way of thinking. Ayurveda is a philosophy that encompasses everything in existence. So it acknowledges that everything's made up of elements and that there are some basic underlying principles of healing nature and that we are included in part of that natural healing process. So it's not looking just to correct symptoms, but to find the overall root of imbalance and bring balance back to the whole being. And I love that so many people are asking this question of how can Ayurveda help me, because I think it really demonstrates the day and age that we are in. You know, people are not satisfied anymore just following the status quo and doing and eating and thinking and existing in the world because of what we've been told or because that's just the way it is. People are sick of eating foods from packages that are shipped from around the world and where there's a great deal of waste. Fossil fuel extraction, I mean, you could go really far down that tangent, but I think beyond that, we want to do things that make us feel good and that makes us feel in line, and that's something that I think is innate, that I have the belief that that's something that's innate in every human being, to want to feel in line with our true essence, with who we were created to be, whatever that means for you. And so there's these mainstream ways of thinking that have really overcomplicated that. And I think even now in the West, as there's been this shift of, looking at more holistic ways of thinking and being, and people are starting to acknowledge, okay, yes, there is a mind-body connection. We're seeing all of these different health trends and all of these cleanses, and again, we're kind of compartmentalizing holistic ways of thinking. And so I want you for a minute to kind of see beyond that compartmentalized way of thinking about things, thinking, okay, there's disease, what is the cure? Because I think Ayurveda is much broader than that, if that makes sense. I know for myself and for many others, Western medicine, and this is, not devaluing the importance of Western medicine in our society and where we're at, but overall Western medicine, for me, failed to address a lot of some of the health issues that I was having, specifically health issues that seemed so, not connected. Suffering from low energy and headaches and food allergies and this. It's like, what kind of specialized doctor do I go to see to start correcting these things? Who can give me a pill or a treatment or a remedy? And it just wasn't working so long for much of my life. Mainstream medicine, Western medicine, is always looking for a diagnosis. And they say once we have a diagnosis, once disease is present, that's when you step in and you treat it. But Ayurveda is much more proactive and preventative, you can say. And so it's not just like this reactionary thing, but as I said, you're looking for imbalance in the whole body, and imbalance is actually created far, far, far before there is any kind of medical diagnosis or symptom even. The deeper you go into it, you come to realize that our body and everything about us is so interconnected. So Ayurvedic medicine treats everything from gastrointestinal disorders, cardiac and respiratory, joint problems, psychological, dermatology. There really isn't something within the field, within the scope of this way of thinking that it can't work with. This is not to say that it can be an insta-fix for every problem, or for a really, really degenerative disease that is in a very advanced stage. No, because also nature doesn't work that way. It is a way to bring conscious light and to create equanimity and to create balance before we have to get to the diagnosis piece. And why is this important? I think beyond just health, a lot of people would say, well, I don't necessarily need medicine or treatment because I consider myself a healthy person. And once again, kind of seeing beyond our classic definition of health, there are so many different layers to who we are. And I think you'll find that to be true the more you keep discovering and exploring. My yoga teacher, I recently finished my yoga teacher training, and we were talking about the different sheaths. We have our physical body, and we have our energy body, and our mental body, and then we can kind of get into our wisdom body. But you can't access any of that until you first work with the physical body and bring balance to the physical body. Another way of thinking about it is the unconscious mind. So many people have different statistics about what percentage of us operate on a really unconscious level. I was recently rereading, I have extra time with the lockdown, this book called The Celestine Prophecy that says, which I think is a book for teenagers, but it has a lot of really pointed information in it. And it talks about how the state of human beings is, often this restlessness to know more, to keep discovering, to want to uncover the layers of who we are, to always go deeper. First layer of discovering the unconscious mind, and to healing ourselves, to healing the way that we connect with and experience ourselves, connect with and experience the world, our planet, other people, always begins with the physical layer. And so that's what Ayurveda really seeks to balance and address. And I always love to say it because it's very true that symptoms and sicknesses present themselves so that they can teach us something, and that they can, so we can learn something more about who we are and how we relate to, the bigger picture of life. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody and parts of it resonated with you, and I definitely encourage you to dive into some of these practices and keep exploring and working with whatever resonates with you. Namaste.